I'm just about to unbox this thing and I really hope that it sucks. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to another video. My name is Derek, and in today's unboxing I'm actually going to not tell you what it is, I'm actually going to show you. So, and hopefully this thing will slide right out. So here we go. Now this is not the cheapest vacuum cleaner in the world. This is in fact the Dyson V15. It's the latest and greatest from Dyson. It's a cordless vacuum cleaner, and we've bought this to replace our 17, 18, 2003, 2002, maybe even longer, Miele cat and dog vacuum cleaner, which has served its purpose, but it's getting very old. Bits are starting to break, and it's getting really hard to replace those bags, which is annoying because when you have two kids, a dog and a cat in the house, there's a lot of dust and there's a lot of dirt, and the bags are just not cutting it anymore. We're having to replace the bags regularly. As I said, it's really hard to get them, so that's why we bought this Dyson. Now obviously this thing's not real cheap. It costs $13.99. That's the recommended retail price of this V15 vacuum cleaner here in Australia. I bought this. This is not being sponsored by Dyson by any means, so anything that I say in this review is my own opinion from an item that I purchased with my own money. Now when I was looking for a brand new vacuum cleaner, I was looking for a number of things. Number one is I wanted something that was cordless, so i.e. battery powered. I wanted to be able to take it down to the car, vacuum the car. I wanted there to be enough charge on this battery that I could do the whole house without running out of battery. I wanted it to be bagless, which is really important because, as I said, I just can't be bothered going out and buying new bags and replacing bags all the time. And once a bag gets full, it doesn't really suck very well. This little thing I saw, we've been after a Dyson for a little while now, but I just saw this new one, which is the V15, and the special features of the V15, apart from the general incremental upgrades of any product, is the fact that this thing has an LED screen, which I'll show you in a minute, which tells you the size of the particles that you're vacuuming up, which I don't know how important that is, and it also emits a light which tells you the dust on the floor. Now people might say that all you have to do is turn on the light, but this actually helps detect dust particles that you may not see with the human eye, which helps to keep the place clean. And one of the most important things about this vacuum cleaner is because we've got half our house being timber hardwood floors, I wanted to make sure that there was a head which didn't scratch the floor, and this one is one of the few that comes with a spongy roller which apparently doesn't scratch hardwood floors, and that's why we got this, even though it cost an arm and a leg literally to get this thing. Is this going to be a worthwhile purchase? As I said, $13.99 is a lot of money for a cleaning product. I guess time will tell, but let's get it unboxed and let's get it in the charger and let's see what sort of performance this thing has. I may not necessarily show you everything that's in the box because you can watch any YouTube video about this vacuum cleaner and you'll see, but it comes with a little white envelope. It's like a birth certificate almost for a vacuum cleaner. Let's see what's in here and let's see if it's important. It's a regulatory compliance and safety information booklet, which is pointless. It's got a user manual and machine registration, which I guess you do online. It has a number of different heads. Extension pole. I'm guessing that's a charging bracket for the wall. It's got more bits. And this is the one that I'm most excited about, because this is the roller head, which is soft and foamy, and theoretically this thing won't scratch our timber floors. And this is the heavy duty one. This is the anti-tangle comb. This is the one I was worried about. A lot of vacuum cleaners in this market from different brands has only this one, but I reckon that this might scratch the floor. So I'm going to be trying to use the foam one as much as I can, but I may experiment with this one on our rugs. A couple of other boxes. There's a charger, and here he is. It's like a bazooka. Get to the chopper. This is the V15. Now, as you can see, it has an LED screen on here. It's got a battery pack which is already attached. It's already got batteries. Look, that's cool. And I think I'm just going to give this a bit of a charge and give it a go. So you can see you can even use it without the extension pole. So this is just the foam roller applied, and it clicks directly on to a V15. Oh, and by the way, it says here, warning, fully charged before first use. Now, according to these instructions here, you mount it to the wall, and there's instructions on how to mount it. I've just done a quick vacuum of the house. You can see how much crap there is that we actually didn't see, but the vacuum managed to pick up. You almost don't need to have lights on. I've done the whole house. There's 2 minutes and 30 seconds battery left, and we've sucked up 368 million particles. I knew our house was dirty, but didn't know that it was this dirty. So hey guys, I'm back. It's been about 3 weeks since I did the initial half of this video, which was pretty much just a quick unboxing and a demonstration of some of the stuff that this vacuum cleaner was capable of, and I just wanted to come back and report to you after the 3 weeks and let you know what I think and whether it's been worth the $13.99 to buy this vacuum cleaner. Now, as I said, it is a lot of money. It is a premium product. What you want to do and what you want to see with products like this is that you want to get what you paid for. You want to get good value for money. You want the thing to actually feel like it's worth $1,400. And to be honest, I think that the Dyson V15 does fit that mold. There are a couple of things that I wish would be improved, but overall it's actually a really cool vacuum cleaner. I find that it's actually almost fun, and it's really sad, but it's actually fun vacuuming now because you're picking up dust where you never thought there would be any dust, and it's just amazing. This whole laser light LED thing where it actually shows you where the dust particles are, it's actually, to me, it feels like a game changer because it actually, strangely enough, it actually improves the efficiency of your vacuum, because if you don't see any dust, you don't need to vacuum there. And with the old vacuum cleaners, you just have to go back and forth because you don't know how clean it is, but this actually tells you, and I actually think that is a major plus of this unit. Now, I haven't got the extension pole on here, so this is just a short version, and this is a few things I just want to talk about. So this LCD screen is amazing. It actually tells you a lot. I have found that I've been using mostly on auto rather than eco or the super high power. I just find that you don't need that, and realistically, with one battery, I can probably eke out about 30 to 40 minutes of vacuuming. Basically, the way our house is configured, the timber floors hardly drains the battery at all. But if you're going to do vacuuming with the other head over rugs and carpet, you're going to notice a significant drop in the battery life of this thing, because it uses a lot of power to obtain the necessary suction to get all the gunk out of the carpet. So you're not going to get 40 minutes if your house is full of thick carpet, but from our house we can get 40 minutes. And the first time I was a little bit unsure as to whether I'd be able to actually vacuum the whole house on one charge, and it kind of cut it fine the first time. But if you're going to be doing the vacuuming regularly, it's not going to be a problem, because you don't have to use 40 minutes worth of vacuum, because as I said, with the technology on this thing, you don't have to go back and forth. It tells you where the dust is, and you can actually just focus on the areas that are dirty, and you'll easily at this point make the whole house, if it's a reasonable sized house, you'll easily get a full vacuum out of one charge. The reason why this is important is that two things. Number one is it takes a good few hours to fully charge this battery once you use it, and you'll find that that can be a little bit of a nuisance if you actually drain this to zero, which I haven't had to do. And the other thing is, the other option is to get a second one of these battery packs. Now, would you get one? At this point I don't feel like I need it, but as with any battery, I'm just wondering how it'll degrade over the lifespan of this unit, and whether 40 minutes becomes 30 minutes and then you're starting to cut it fine. These batteries, if you want to get a second one, you can, at this point, as far as I can tell, only buy them from Dyson, and they're $249 each, so that's a lot of money for a battery, but it will double, obviously, the effective runtime of this thing, as long as you remember to charge both batteries. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take it out, when one's full, you're going to have to take it out, put the other one in, put it back in the charger, and if you do that, you're going to get at least an hour of runtime on this thing. This laser detecting thing, I feel, is a game changer in vacuums. Just remember, it only is available on this roller head. It's not available on any of the other attachments, so it only works on this. And when the room is really, really bright, it doesn't work very well, but when it's dark, especially if you've got the lights off, which is weird, I know, but if you've got the lights off, it's actually something really spectacular. Now, on the LED screen, in terms of the particle sizes and stuff that it displays, I feel like that's a little bit of a gimmick. Every time you use this vacuum cleaner, apparently you're sucking out millions and millions of different size particles, which is cool, but I don't know how that would particularly affect your vacuuming. But it's just something that is kind of like, as I said, it's more of a gimmick than anything. But the rest of the use of the LCD screen is really useful, and the fact that you can check the battery life, and it actually tells you how many minutes you have left based on the carpet or the type of floor that you're using. I think that's a really good use for this LCD screen. In terms of the suction of this thing is really powerful. All the dust gets trapped in this chamber. You will notice that you get some hairs and stuff stuck in here, but that's not too difficult to clean. But when you slide it out like this, well, you can't because I've got this on it, but when you actually slide this out, some of the stuff gets trapped in there. You may actually have to stick your fingers into that bit to try and get it out, which is a bit nuisance. You can stick something else in there to dig it out, but you just got to remember that. But it does maintain really good suction throughout. I have had one error on this device, and that was when there was something clogged in here. So this you should be able to see right all the way through the other side. But when this was clogged, it came up with an airway obstruction, which is ironic because I'm a doctor, and airway obstruction is one of those terms that I thought was medical, but I didn't realize it applied to vacuum cleaners, but it does. And there's a little slot on here too that sometimes gets blocked with gunk, and it will also say airway obstruction, and you can easily unblock that. But in terms of having a blockage in here, you're going to need a stick long enough to actually poke it all the way through and get the blockage out. The animal hair attachments and things like that are really good at picking up hair without getting all tangled. Sometimes stuff gets tangled in this roller, all you have to do is pull it out. I haven't actually removed this to wash, and I will probably do that at some point, but apparently you can, and hopefully this thing has good durability. Other aspects of this vacuum is that it is quite heavy, so when you've got the whole attachment and stuff like that, you've got to remember you have to have your hand on the trigger all the time. It's kind of like the Australian petrol Bowsers where you don't have a lock where you can just take your finger off and it continues to fill up the gas tank like you do in the US. You actually have to have the finger on here the whole time. It actually can make your wrist a little bit sore and your arm a bit sore. I had a bit of a sore right forearm for a little while and I wasn't sure what's causing it, but now to think back, I think it's from the vacuum, because this thing is reasonably heavy, and the fact that you have to have the trigger squeezed the entire time actually does put a lot of stress on your forearm, and it may cause a little bit of an issue for those who are prone to it, but that's something you just need to bear in mind when you're using this device. But overall, I think that the Dyson V15 is, as I said, a very premium product. It's very expensive, and if you're going to use it the way that it's intended, you are going to get your money's worth out of this thing. It's not perfect, no device is perfect, but I think this is about as close as you can get to a perfect cordless vacuum. I'm yet to use it in the car, but I don't see why it should be an issue. It is powerful, the battery life is reasonable, but as I said, as the battery degrades, the jury's still out on that. It's easy to empty, somewhat a little bit of a fiddle to clean sometimes, but usually you won't have a problem with that. The suction is powerful and will last you almost certainly your entire house, unless you've got a huge mansion, on one charge. It is heavy, it does cause problems if you have issues with your wrist or your forearms and stuff like that, so you've got to be careful. So overall, I give this thing a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I recommend that if you're into this type of vacuum and it's something you want, I would be in a position to recommend that you do splurge a little bit and get this one, because it's actually a really good vacuum. But it's up to you if you want to pay that much. If you're happy with a less functional vacuum but only have to pay $200 or $300, if you're in a position where you're not going to blow your budget to buy a premium vacuum cleaner, I would recommend this one, and I would spend the extra couple of $100 rather than some of the other brands and some of the lower models that don't have some of the features that I've described. But obviously you're comparing apples to oranges when you're talking about this and a $300 vacuum. And yes, a $300 vacuum most likely will do everything that this one does. However, you know, it may take a little bit longer to clean, it may not be as good at cleaning, and certainly it doesn't have that cool features that this one has, but it is a lot of money, so think about it yourself. But in the meantime, you guys stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you in another video. And I'm going to go and perhaps do a little bit more vacuuming on this thing, because the floor's been filthy. This is what happens when you've got 2 kids, 2 adults, a dog and a cat who live with you. But until next time, remember to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment below if you've got any questions about this. I can be reached not only on YouTube but on all the other social media platforms. Until next time, so stay safe, stay away from people, and let's get on top of this whole pandemic thing so we can go back to what could be relatively more normal lives than we are now, because we're currently in lockdown. But everyone take care, and I'll catch you next time in another video. See ya.